friends, my name's Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads, and I know I have an actual book video today. This week is Banned Books Week, and so I figured it'd be fun to make a list of my top 5 favorite banned books. For those of you guys who don't know, Banned Books Week is a week-long event that happens usually around the end of September, beginning of October, and the whole point of the event is to basically celebrate and bring attention to the fact that there are books that people want to be censored, and there are books that a lot of libraries and public places are under a lot of heat for, and so it's basically kind of celebrating the freedom to read and share ideas that maybe are not orthodox or popular, but we still have that ability to read them and know about them. It's my opinion that censoring books is absolutely ridiculous. Everybody in the book community kind of gets involved this week and just kind of celebrate the ability to seek and express ideas. So I made a list of my 5 favorite banned books that I have read, and if you guys haven't read them, I highly suggest you should because they are great. And number 1 on that list is A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundy by Jill Twist and illustrated by E.G. Keller. So this book was actually one of the most banned books in 2019, which is so ridiculous because it's a children's book. And you may have heard of it because it kind of took the internet by storm when Last Week Tonight with John Oliver announced that he would be backing and kind of publishing this book. Little backstory, he was covering a story about the absolutely awful human being that is Mike Pence, and the fact that his wife and his daughter wrote a book about their bunny following the vice president for the day, which is like a cute idea if the person they were following wasn't a complete homophobic, terrible person. But John Oliver took that rabbit, their pet Marlon Bundy, and instead gave him his own story and made it A Day in the Life of Marlon Bundy. And it's actually a really cute story. Like, just, you know, objectively as a kid's book, I think it's adorable. The illustrations are really cute. Instead of making it a day in the life of the vice president, it made it about Marlon Bundy's life. And during that day in Marlon Bundy's life, he falls in love with a boy bunny and kind of has to go through and talk to all of his friends about it. And they even got some pretty famous voice actors to cover for like the audiobook. And that's actually what I ended up listening to. So unfortunately, I don't have like a hardcover copy of it. But the fact that it was one of 2019's most banned books is the most ridiculous thing to me because it's still just a children's book that actually has a really good story and plot line. So why was this book officially banned? Well, designed to pollute the morals of its readers, and this led to the book being challenged or kind of put under question whenever it appeared, and also vandalized a lot due to the LGBTQ plus content and its political viewpoints. Just a quick reference, I'm getting a lot of this information from the American Library Association, so a lot of the banned books lists and the rankings for each year. If you guys want to go and check out that website, they have a ton of information about Banned Books Week and banned books in general. So that was book number 1. Book number 2 is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And I think anybody who is familiar with The Handmaid's Tale might be able to figure out why this is banned so often or restricted from reading it in certain areas. I actually only read this book after I started watching the TV series. And the TV series is one I have to pace myself on because it's just so dark and it's so stressful to watch. So I decided that maybe reading the book would help me when it came to watching the TV series. I didn't realize how much the TV series kind of does its own thing, and I didn't know how much of that was pulled from the book. So I decided to read the book itself, and I actually enjoyed the book a little bit more than the TV series just because I wasn't in a constantly stressful situation and constantly freaking out, which speaks well to the show writers and the people who are acting in the show, but it's still very stressful and I have to take a break from watching it sometimes. But the book itself I really enjoyed. You know, I don't know, there's something about the general everything that's happening right now that makes it feel really relatable. But why is this book specifically banned? Well, it's banned for its profanity, which I didn't notice that much of in the book, but maybe it's just because I haven't read it in a while. But profanity and its vulgarity and sexual undertones. But moving on to number 3, which I actually have a hard copy of. Number 3 is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I hear people talking about like make 1984 fiction again, but I never hear them bring up Animal Farm, and I feel like that's also one that we should probably be addressing it right now because of the relatability in certain aspects. But Animal Farm tells about a group of animals who rebel against their human farmer, and it's just kind of a commentary on how any human society ends up running. The people who are put in power are less concerned with the needs or wants of the people who helped them get there in the first place and more concerned with personal agendas. So it's actually one of my favorites by George Orwell, and I highly recommend it. But as you can probably guess, this book is banned because of its political speculations and theories, and it also apparently shows indecent images of pigs walking on two legs and drinking, and that was enough to get it banned in certain countries. That's a weird one for me too, but that's apparently the reasoning behind it. I think that that's kind of a far reach for a reason, but who am I to talk? I don't know. These last two banned books on my list are actually probably ones that this next one I'm talking about is my absolute favorite book series in the world, and I have a whole playlist where I talk about the different books and different episodes of the TV show, so if you're interested in hearing more, I will link that in the description or in the cards up here. But that is going to be His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I also have a hard copy of multiple hard copies of, actually, and I just really like showing them off, so that's why I wanted to pick them up. It's got action, it's got adventure, romance, magic, but it's restricted in a lot of countries and outright banned in some others. The reason is because in the book, it talks a lot about like this church, which ends up being like the enemy for a majority of the series. So a lot of people find that very anti-religious, and they say that because of that, it should not be allowed. Due to its anti-religious propaganda and violence also, apparently, which I didn't really notice much of compared to most other like YA novels, but maybe that's just me. And finally, our last banned book of this list is going to be the Harry Potter series. I know that this isn't a really big surprise for many people, and this is one that a lot of people know is kind of on the banned or restricted book lists for different countries, different communities, but this one is made my list because it's the first time I ever experienced what like a book banning meant, or having a book be challenged meant. I was in the 2nd grade when I heard about different parents who refused to let their kids read the books or watch the movies, and would complain about the fact that school libraries or school classrooms had this book series available for the kids to read. But I remember even at that age, when I was like 7 years old, and I was thinking about how stupid that was because it's just a book and it's fiction and it's just a fun story, so I didn't understand why so many people were calling it witchcraft and the devil's work and everything like that. Luckily, I wasn't one of those kids who had it banned, and I was actually caught up to where the series was published at that point, and I think there was at least 2 movies out that I'd watched and really enjoyed. So I wasn't one of those, but it was really weird for me to kind of talk to some of my friends and see that they couldn't enjoy the series like I could because they'd been told it was bad and had bad ideas in it. I'll always remember this book series as being the first one that I had actual experience with when it came to books being banned or restricted, and that's why I wanted to make it on this list today. I would love to know what your either first experience with a banned book was or what some of your favorite banned books are, so let me know in the comments down below. But that's all I have for you guys today, so thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Okay.